day for the
I
show?
didn't, but I don't use shampoo anymore, and now it's just, like, really easy to, like, move.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, remember you gonna tell me about the whole process of not using shampoo anymore?
Yeah,
Elaborate.
it's a journey.
Okay.
It's a journey. I stopped using shampoo, like, Christmas Eve, I feel like, at a protest for the holidays, and I didn't like, it's the first, like, 2 weeks, I won't lie, is rough, like, your hair looks gross.
Oh,
It looks
okay.
gross, and it's like, hard because you don't want your scalp to be dry, but, like, your hair is greasy, so it's like, how do you uh, but after that, it regulates a little bit. It still gets a little bit greasy, and now I just use conditioner, like, once every 2 weeks, but, like, hair is just so easy to move now, I don't really have bedhead anymore. It's, uh it's good, I don't know, I like it. I wish I did this when I had long hair because then
Yeah.
it would've probably looked really good because my long hair was always too thick, so it was hard to style when I was down,
Oh.
which is why it was always up because I was like, "I can't get it to just" it always went so, I know, I kinda wish I tried this when I had long hair, but I was too scared to because 'cause I'm like, "It's gonna look so gross and oily, and
I'm gonna
yeah,
look
I'm
homeless.
gonna look homeless."
People
So,
are going to judge me in the office, lab.
yes. Lab, which I haven't been to in, like, 2 years because
Mm.
COVID, but apparently
Oh.
we are going back to work in April.
Well, hey, I mean, if they're gonna open up every sports arena in the world, you may as well work in the lab again.
You might as well open up government facilities, yes.
Absolutely. Brent does not work for Brent is an undercover operative. That's why he can't talk about politics, is because he actually works for the Canadian version of the CIA.
Yeah, I totally do. Sure.
NCIS? Is that
And
it?
or CMP? I don't know. No, that's
Uh,
like we need a civics lesson, miss. We're
right?
gonna we're never mind.
Did our did our stupid tangent throw anyone off your scent? Who knows?
It's impossible to tell.
Hello and welcome to the Full Volume Podcast. I am not a secret agent, but I'm one of your hosts, G.I. Jolie.
And I'm a by proxy operative, Harvey Brent.
And today we are happy to be back. I am so happy to like the context of the shirt that Brent is currently wearing. For anyone who is listening to the audio only version of the podcast, he's wearing a very relaxed crew but Euro fit style white t-shirt that features the movie poster, the very first movie poster from Scream 2.
I love how it's Scream 2 and not Scream. Like, why was that not available?
Right?
Thank you, Old Navy.
Why was that not available?
It's
Just
just really
Scream.
random.
They only have the licensing for that one, for
Only
this.
Scream 2.
Yeah. Even though we're up to 5. Speaking of screaming, no, that was terrible. We're just gonna get right into it. So today, since we don't have any cartoons or live action or films to talk about, because I'm not going to see the Batman.
I this is the thing. We were talking about this last night with friends.
Mm,
I can only take a Batman reboot so many times. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Continue in the same continuity. I mean, as terrible as the George Clooney films were, at least there was building up. There was multiple movies in that lineage, and Dark Knight too. Uh,
Mhm.
I can't. You gotta stop. You gotta stop rebooting Batman. Commit to an actor, please, and then I will invest in your franchise.
Yeah. Apparently, this is gonna be it.
Oh, like they're actually gonna use him going forward?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, well, they've broken my trust too many times, and
Yep.
when I see it, I will believe it.
Exactly. And it's like if you're gonna look, I know that Ben Affleck is very divisive, but if you're
Mhm.
gonna break his heart, um, then I don't know what to say. It's so hard for me because I'm Team Edward.
Are you?
I
See,
am.
I know there's a lot of controversy about him at first getting cast in the role.
Yeah. But here I mean everybody went and saw it last night. And
Okay.
then all of social media is just
A flutter.
a flutter with like our Pat's praise. So,
Well, good for him.
Yeah, I'll eventually see it. I still don't want to go into a movie theater with more than 4 other people.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, I think I might pick in a week or two, like matinee in the middle of the afternoon. But for
That's
now, yeah.
that's how we saw Spider-Man No Way Home because we're like, ooh, we don't want to go like on a Friday or Saturday, so we went like on like a Tuesday afternoon at like 1 p.m.
Yeah,
because for that exact reason.
yeah, and then it's just the winter. I wonder why. It's like people wonder why drive-ins aren't open all year round in the northern parts of North America. It's because there's snow and you'd have to keep your car idling all night, and then the drive-in would just be full of smoke.
So I actually saw Scream 5 at the drive. We saw yeah, we saw it at the drive-in because I really wanted to see it opening night and I didn't want it to be spoiled for me. And I
Mhm.
learned some things about drive-ins in the winter. Turns
Elaborate.
turns out it is possible. It's very doable. And you only so like it's cold obviously. It was like minus 14 that night. It was cold.
Mhm.
And you turn your like you park whatever and like you keep your heat on and then like when you're good, you just you put up your emergency brake and you turn the vehicle off and um or sorry, you put on your e-brake and your lights turn off so you're not like blinding the person in front of you. So
Mhm.
like you can still have your car on and it's like you can be warm or whatever, the windows don't fog up and then you just turn it off every like we turned it off. I think we turned the car on 3 times like, over the course of the movie just to heat up. So
Yeah.
like once an act. And then it was but like it was actually surprisingly doable. There was an idiot behind us that didn't know how to work their e-brake and so their lights kept like flashing in, our rear view, but we just put like pillowcases over our side mirrors there so it blocked it out and it was fine.
Oh, you're a pillowcaser. I mean,
I
a
am.
pillower.
I pillow I'd never been to a drive-in. That was my first drive-in I went to.
Oh, what a
Yeah,
treat.
in the winter in January.
You've never been to a drive-through? A
Nope,
drive-in?
nope, never been.
Oh,
I know. I feel like it'd probably be really cool in the summer, but I really wanted to see Scream.
yeah. Do you know what the only time it's really kind of like um it's terrible is August when all the mosquitoes are out.
I've heard that. I've
Yeah.
heard like people like have to put like bug nets up and stuff, and it's like it's a lot.
Yeah, it's not it's not the tea.
It's not the tea. But yeah, this was the only theater playing Scream in all of Ontario and Quebec.
Yes.
So because we were locked down. So yeah, made the drive. It was a 2 hour, no, not 2 hours, about an hour and a half drive from where we live. But we made the drive. Got
Mhm.
some Costco hot dogs and pizza beforehand because
It's my
inflation.
favorite.
So
And those things will never inflate past
I know.
$1.99.
I'm obsessed with the prices at Costco at their food court.
Mm.
Obsessed.
It's worth a $60 business membership.
I think it might be like we get it like once every 6 weeks, maybe or maybe once every 2 months or something. But it's a cheap dinner.
It's like if there was an IKEA nearby, I'd be just stuffed with meatballs.
I heard IKEA are actually raising all their prices though, which is sad.
Ugh, yeah. Well, so now the mac and cheese will be $2 instead of 99
Yeah,
cents.
oh God. Break the
Mhm,
bank, IKEA.
right? Okay, so because we don't have anything to review that's superhero related in our Marvel Disney Plus world, we're going to just do what we want here. And we've been talking about it a lot lately. I'm just gonna cut right to it because I was like, I really want to talk about them. We're gonna we're gonna return to our tier list format until Moon Knight drops. And today we're going to do a tier list of the Scream franchise films.
Yes, no
Say
TV
that
shows.
because we are not even going to go near that television show.
No, 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 no.
Sorry, babies.
I hate that extra mask they made, and it wasn't working.
No. And I will argue and fight anyone who says it does work. Okay. So let me share my screen. Watch it
Yes.
share the pornography. Here we go. Start sharing. Okay. Here we go. So we're gonna start with
I
films.
haven't seen it load yet, but I'm sure it'll just take a second.
Yeah,
You know how these things go.
yeah, glitchy and weird all the time. Did it even?
All the time. I still see a black screen.
Huh.
Oh, there it is. I
Aha.
got it. I think it's like a 30-second delay sometimes when you share your screen with me, and then it comes up, which
Okay.
is cool. Which is cool. So
There
I
you go.
think we should preface before we start ranking these
Yeah.
that if anybody is interested in the Scream films or knows the Scream fandom or community, I swear to God, no two fans' rankings are the same order or
Hmm.
the same tier. Like everybody has very different opinions on which films are the best and why each film is the best. I, it's I so I you know it's I feel like too sometimes even my ranking in my head changes. Like it just sometimes depends on the mood of the day. Like, but they're very. I think the general consensus is this franchise surprisingly, even when we rank them low today, if there's anything that ranks low, all of the films are technically quite good, which is rare
Hmm.
for a franchise.
Hmm.
Um, so it's going to be a lot of splitting hairs, but in general, I think these films are all pretty good for different reasons. Some are poor in some senses, but in general, these are all really good films.
Yes. And yeah. And Brent mentioned that unlike other franchises, I'm not pointing any fingers, but I will be saying names. Final Destination, Paranormal Activity.
Friday the 13th.
Get your shit together.
Step your pussy up.
All right.
Yes.
So, should we start in order from, well, yeah, well, of course.
I think, yeah, you'll have to,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, so I'm Scream 1, 1996.
All right.
Directed by Wes Craven and
Written.
by Kevin Williamson of Dawson's Creek fame.
I love it. I know exactly where I'm putting this one. And
Go
this
for
is whoa. I was like,
it.
oh no, do we have conflicting lists? Mine is also in flux all the time.
You know what? I might write mine down right now, real quick.
Oh, you have an order that's pretty permanent.
Well, I mean, like, I do, but I'm going to see if it changes based on what you can and can't convince me of.
Okay, because mine changed this morning while I was thinking about it on the toilet. So
Interesting.
I don't. I want to err on the side of caution and put because we can change the list while we're making it.
We can.
I want to put. I would put Scream in the A tier
Okay.
with room to move towards the S tier.
Okay, give me your. I guess it's hard right now to like tell me why, but give me your thoughts on the first Scream.
My thoughts on the first Scream, shot on film.
Oh yeah, totally.
The dialogue and the script is practically perfect.
It is.
I'm not going to put it in an S tier. Well, okay, the twist about who it is, I remember when I first watched it. Oh, this is going to be so divisive. um, in a world that already is so divided by man hates. Anyway, sorry, I'm. I gotta chuckle at those idiots all the time. Anyway, okay, to have the boyfriend,
Thank you.
spoiler alert, to have the boyfriend be the killer, but then to also have his best friend be the killer. So we're talking about Billy and Stu,
Yes.
was insane
I think at the time it was, yeah, like jaw
at the time.
dropping because
Yeah,
nobody expected two killers. And this is
no.
the first film in the franchise, and there was two killers.
Yes. The thing that was not great was their, like, at least Stu's motivation.
Stu's just well, okay. Oh, this is gonna open a big can of worms.
Oh yeah.
I think there's a lot more subtext to Stu's motivation than people first realize.
Yeah.
I don't. You said you watched all the films this week, right? In preparation for Scream 5.
Yes.
Stu, there's a lot of talk within the community that Stu was in love with Billy.
I see it.
Yes. And it's so there's like a level of like queer coding in it that maybe motivated Stu to please Billy.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, outside of being a best friend. Cuz
outside of being a best friend,
yeah,
yes.
because to be with somebody like Tatum, you'd have to be as comfortable in your sexuality as Stu was.
Yeah.
if we're if we're going to paint him with a pansexual brush or
Yep.
a bisexual brush, whatever brush.
And he was like Casey Becker, Drew Barrymore's ex-boyfriend too.
Hmm.
Don't forget, like, she was the first victim, or
Yeah.
technically second. But yeah, so I agree with you that on the surface, Stu looks like a weak um motivation for why he's helping Billy. But I
Hmm.
think, and it was hard to talk about the time in the '90s because queerness was kind of like, eh. So yeah, but in general, like, this film is, like you said, it's strong because they they talk like people, and they're aware of all of these. They're movie fans. They talk about horror films. They know the tropes. They know the traps. So they almost operate on a self-aware level, which is why these movies are so popular.
Hmm.
So yeah, we could stick it in the A tier and see how we feel after that.
Okay. But you're in agreement that you're not one of those no Scream is a D tier movie.
D? No, I don't think D or
Okay.
F is going to come into play here.
Okay, no. Yeah.
Possibly C.
Yeah, maybe. Well, yeah. Oh, if only we could rank acts. Okay. So I know we didn't go into too much detail about the film because I could sit here and spin my wheels all day because these films are phenomenal. But shall we move on to Scream 2?
Scream 2, okay.
Or
Yeah,
as
yeah,
it's sometimes known, Scream Again.
Scream again. You throw it into a ranking, and then I'll help debate it later. But tell me where you think Scream 2 goes.
Okay. When I first watched Scream 2, it was in the theater, it was frightening, and then it ended. It ended the way that it did. Or
It
sorry,
happened to me.
it started the way that it did, and I was like, "Whoa, how are you going to top a Casey Becker?"
Yeah,
Oh, I know. You stab
Jada Pinkett.
right in a movie theater while she's watching Stab.
While
Like
she's watching the events of the first film, yeah.
it's nuts. Also, I don't think I wouldn't put it above the original.
I
Some
agree.
people think it's better than the original, which I
Yes.
disagree with because for me it's the misogyny, the dated misogyny. Um it's just small shit, right? Like um of course, is it Mackay Pfeiffer? Oh, I can't remember his name.
Who are you talking about? The
Yeah, Jada Pinkett goes to the theater with
Oh, Omar Epps. I
that's it, Omar
think it's
Epps.
Omar Epps. Yeah.
It's just like males do typically male things. Females are typecast in a way that is very like feminine.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I almost said Nev Campbell plays Cassiopeia in a Greek tragedy. Um, Cassandra. She plays Cassandra?
She plays Cassandra. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, it's just such a hyper feminine thing. And Omar Epps is like Omar Epps, Jerry O'Connell, like they do really hyper masculine things. And it
Mm-hmm.
bothers me how they're written because apparently this is now we're taking them away from high school. If you can believe it, Scream is about a bunch of high school
Oh
kids
yeah, we should mention this takes place in high school.
who decide that it's going to be a good idea to kill each other.
Yeah.
Weird. Could you imagine if you were in high school and your friend was like, I'm a killer.
Also, like, we didn't even mention the first one. All of this killing start because the main character, Sydney, her mother broke up the marriage of her boyfriend's parents.
Hmm.
And so that's how all these killings started. Because
Yes.
Billy was pissed that his parents got divorced because of Sydney's mom. And somehow that justified murder.
Yeah. So yeah, and murder before sex.
Before sex, no less. Yeah.
Because that is the whole crux of the Sydney and Billy situation, is that he is just trying to bed her the whole time, but he's sensitive and sweet and quiet. so he'll wait. But here's the thing, he's sensitive and sweet and quiet because he's a psychopath
Yes, he is.
who has been grooming her for like a pig for slaughter.
Yeah.
He's just waiting to pounce, not with his penis, with a knife.
Yep.
And
Totally.
anyway, which I mean lends a lot more credence to the fact that he probably, maybe him and Stu were just 90s style getting it on the side with each other.
I think there was some major queer coding. Whether or not the love was reciprocated, I think there was some gay sex going on between them.
Dude, sometimes dudes in high school touch each other's penises. We're
It
okay with it
happens.
now.
It's fine.
Yeah, anyone listening out there, if you think that perhaps you might be gay, maybe you're not. But hey, it's fine to experiment. Just do it. Who cares?
We love love.
We love love, and it would do what makes you feel best.
Yes.
So anyway, Scream 2.
Scream 2.
Um,
I have a problem with Scream 2. I one thing I
like a
do like, I like it a lot. I do like
yeah.
Scream 2, but
Mhm.
one problem I have is that the movie starts off the first like 30 or 40 minutes, there's this whole like thread about a copycat killer and that they're like killing people with names like very similar to the victims of the original, and then that plot line is just dropped.
Dropped.
I don't like that.
Yes, I
That was
agree.
annoying. And
This
I also have I also have a problem too with the killer reveals in the sense. I do like the killers, but I don't like that Mickey, who's played by Timothy Oliphant, disappears for 45 minutes in the film before his reveal, which is a little weak. But then you find out just behind the scenes, not to excuse it because this is the final product, but he was not supposed to be the killer originally. It was supposed to be Sydney's roommate, Hallie, and her boyfriend, Derek,
really. Oh yeah,
and
that's
Mrs.
right.
Loomis, and Miss. There was supposed to be three killers.
Okay. So they were going to blow their serial killer load
Yeah,
and give us 3 instead of an
two.
initial 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, because didn't it wasn't it because the script got leaked online?
Yep. It got leaked like months in advance, and they had to change the script. They didn't have to refilm anything. They had to change the script.
Mm.
But
Oh, yeah.
Hallie being the killer was supposed to be a nice bookend to the beginning of the movie because it was talking about how like black people in horror films and that they're always the first to die. And Hallie is black, and she was going to be one of the killers at the end. I don't know what kind of commentary they were going to make, but like I think she was going to frame herself as a victim and say she survived it. So
Yeah.
it was supposed to be a nice bookend at the beginning, but it got changed.
How does Derek
I don't know, but
work?
I'm glad they didn't do Derek though, because two boyfriends in a row would have been like,
Especially since they spent the whole movie
making
trying
you think
to
it's him.
make you think it's him. It
Hmm.
would have just been nice if it was just Tally, and
I
that's it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I have a little bit of problems with the film, but I think it is a good film. Like the chase sequence where Ghostface chases Gale through the sound studio
Yeah.
and stabs Dewey. That's a really good scene.
Oh
And
yeah.
also, um, how are we gonna forget our queen, Sarah Michelle Gellar's in this?
See.
DC.
And she goes out in a uh it was so weird because at the time Buffy the Vampire Slayer was on television, and for
Yes.
me it was like my favorite television show. Um it was so strange to watch her being murdered.
It's
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's very weird that she's just brought in like into like one beat of the film, and like it's exactly because she was in Buffy. Like that's why they wanted her. They
Mhm.
wanted a hot now, teen icon, and they got Sarah Michelle Gellar. So yeah, it's good. I don't think it's as good as Scream. I guess
No.
B tier for now.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Scream 3.
Oh my God.
Is this what you meant by we might go into the C tier?
I personally
All
Scream 3 is
right.
tough,
It is. So, the premise of the film is now there's an established franchise within the franchise.
which I like.
Yes. And they are making more films about the Woodsboro murders. Sydney, what is she doing at this point?
She's in isolation. She's in hiding because she's just over trying to be killed twice.
Yes, that's it. Uh, I mean, which is exactly what I would do.
Yeah.
So, we always talk about the cold open slash of these films.
Yes.
Um, in this, the first film was Casey. The second film, it was the two college students played by Jada Pinkett and Omar Epps. In the third film, it is our best friend and recently exonerated
Cotton
Cotton
Weary,
Weary.
played by
Uh,
Liev Schreiber, who 6 Degrees of Separation featured in our X-Men film tier list.
yes.
Go check that episode out.
And that is the the strongest tiniest thread that we will relate that how these films are superhero adjacent. Liv Schreiber.
Yeah, that's our only connection.
Is it? Oh,
I think
no,
to the thank you.
Jada Pinkett.
My executive producer just handed me this Buffy mug. By
Oh,
the way,
wonderful.
speaking of Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Designed and sold on my Etsy store.
Yes, that was a plug for you. Sell yourself. Go.
Sweet. Also available on ahandmaidetale.com
I'm gonna model the
through
other side too.
my sister's store. In it features a drawing made by Giles in the Emmy nominated episode from season 3, 4,
4. I think
4,
it's season 4, episode 10.
entitled Hush. An all silent, all musical episode. Mostly silent, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anyway, enough of that. Scream 3.
So yeah, the openings with Liev Schreiber, who actually is a character in both. He has a cameo in Scream 1, and then he has
Mhm.
like a big role in Scream 2, and he's the opening kill in Scream 3. And which is like fine, I guess.
I love when they kill a legacy.
Well,
Legacy.
and we will get to that later on in this tier list.
Mhm.
Um, my problems with Scream 3. So I like Scream 3, or no, I don't like Scream 3. It's directed it's directed by Wes Craven, and
Yeah.
it's not written by Kevin Williamson this time.
Mhm.
It's written by the
Aaron Kruger.
talented Aaron Kruger, and
Mm.
the script is so frustrating and lazy. I
Yeah.
I hate that Ghostface all of a sudden has a voice changer and can be anyone. That technology doesn't even exist now, Jolie.
Yeah, I
It
know.
might just be emerging right now. It might be emerging technology, but that did not exist in the year 2000.
No. It was too and, like, if it did exist in the year 2000, that technology would have cost thousands of dollars,
That-
which
which I mean, we do find out the killer might have been able to afford that. He is a movie director,
yes.
but it's lazy. It's
Yeah.
lazy, and the violence is not good. This movie's defense, Columbine happened the year before, and so in the media, there was a big aversion to violence because
Yeah.
of what happened in Columbine. And so there was a lot of behind the scenes struggles with Scream 3 because they didn't want to make it violent. They didn't even want to make the movie at all. They didn't even
Mhm.
want to make it, but they're like, ah, the second one was successful. Yeah, we should try and make it. But I don't know if you noticed, but the violence is extremely muted. There's very little blood. The stabbings are all very implied or whatever. So it's a neutered film on a lot of levels, and you can tell.
Mhm. Where that falls apart, and all the violence, and I specifically am thinking about the whole this like the scene where Jenny McCarthy dies. Her character
Yes,
who yeah, so she's playing who is she playing again?
she's playing Sarah Darling, who apparently is a commentary on Sarah Michelle Gellar from Scream 2.
That's it. Yes. She's wearing the same outfit
She
and she
is.
has the same blonde hair. It's a bob. It's bobbed the way Casey's hair is to kind of throw us off the scent. But apparently Sarah Michelle Gellar was a bitch to work with
Yes. Which I don't know
because
if it's
she
true
was a
because
superstar.
we stan SMG on this podcast. We do stan
Exactly.
her.
No.
But
Yeah. We know she has a heart of gold and ab- and if you can survive 6 to 8 years of Joss Whedon, then
you can be as mean and nasty as you need to be because you've been through it, girl.
yes. Mhm. So The yeah. The scene with her, it's like, yeah, it's like you're saying, you're just like waiting for somebody to die bloody and it never happens.
No.
But I
And
will say, yeah.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna cut right to the story if you wanted to elaborate on the bloodiness.
Well, yeah, it's the lack thereof. Like, there's just no
Mhm,
blood in the film. There's very little, so it's just a muted horror film, and it reeks of studio interference, and it reeks of like mainstream cameos, like Jay and Silent Bob, and it's like,
mhm.
I do like the Carrie Fisher cameo. That one was a little bit more grounded.
Yes.
Uh, but it's just, I don't know. To me, but there are good points about the movie, but I'll let you get on with it, and I'll say the good points
Okay. So Sydney visits the set of the film.
of Stab
Um,
3, by the way.
yeah, which is supposed to, this is like weirdly prophetic, right? Because
Mhm.
they technically, this is the third film, and they're filming a third film
Yeah,
based on what, I don't know. Well, I mean, we all know it's a Gale Weathers book. It's always a Gale Weathers book.
it's always Gale.
Goddamn.
Played
Um,
by the way, we haven't even said her name yet, Courtney Cox.
oh yes,
Thank you, Miss Cox.
yes, yes. Um, the only good thing to arise from the ashes of Friends
It's Courtney Cox.
is Courtney Cox in the Scream franchise. Okay, so I this is also where we start to see people hallucinating dead people.
No,
I don't remember it being a part of the first and second films,
it's not.
but Sydney is having memories, weird,
Memories.
fucking scary ass memories of her mother. Her mother is haunting her. Why could this be? Oh, here's the thing. Her mother's dead corpse is chasing her throughout the film and causing her to like be like appear unhinged to do this. And I say it a lot, but this does a lot of heavy lifting because you wonder why they introduce a supernatural element is because the killer turns out to be an not estranged, they didn't even know each other, just a boy who like a half brother that she doesn't
Half
know about.
brother. So it basically rewrites the premise of Scream 1 in a way. It goes back to the original, which
Hmm.
we are taught all trilogies do
Excuse me. Yep.
by Jamie Kennedy. And it's saying that basically Roman tried to track down his mother, who is
Hmm.
Sydney's mother, and she wanted nothing to do with him. And so she caught his mother's cavorting around town with Billy's dad, and so he told Billy, and he's the one that basically set the events of Scream 1 in motion. So yeah, he's it's so this is the thing. His reveal is very disappointing. There's only one killer in this movie.
Hmm.
His reveal is disappointing. He never ever has a scene with Sydney until after he reveals himself, which I do not like.
Hmm.
But one positive thing about this film is it has aged well in the Me Too era because we come to learn that Sydney's mom was trying to be a famous movie actress, and she was passed around at Hollywood parties against her will.
Hmm.
So there's like a level of like male power and what that does to a person, so the theme has aged well, I would say.
Yes.
I still think it's a weak ass movie though compared to the others. It's entertaining.
Yeah.
It's fun, and this one too. I don't know if you notice, it has less Sydney and more Gale and Dewey. Good guy, good cop, bad cop kind of thing going on, where they're trying to solve the mystery.
Hmm.
So it's different. I just don't know if I like it as much as the first two.
Yeah, I like the idea that you get backstory on Sydney's mother that
Hmm.
comes before everything you know about Sydney in Scream.
Also,
Uh,
they try
yeah.
so hard to make Mark Kincaid a red herring that I'm like, there's no way he's the killer because they're making it so obvious.
Oh, that's right.
Patrick Dempsey.
Lest we forget, McDreamy
Mhm.
plays because they're in Hollywood. Dewey is only sort of there to protect Parker Posey, who plays Gale Weathers in the films.
I forgot to mention she's the best part of this film.
Yeah, because so he happens to be dating her.
Yes.
And that's the only reason why Dewey is now in Hollywood. So, being that we're in a completely different jurisdiction, we need a new cop
Hmm.
to sort of bat around, and that is McDreamy.
I
For
forgot about Jennifer. I forgot about Parker Posey though. She is so funny in this film.
oh yeah,
Nobody can do what she can do.
that's the thing about this film is that it's packed with great performances and a great premise, but the execution was needed to be bloodier.
And bloodier, it's sloppy and it's deflated. Like the killer reveal is so poor. Fun fact, apparently
Mhm.
there were supposed to be two killers in the original version. I think they actually shot it. The other killer is the actress that plays Sydney.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Rachel, no, she's
Um,
kind of mousy.
yes, Emily Mortimer, who she play.
That's
I
it.
forget the character's name, but yeah. Oh, Angelina.
Yes. Well, I mean that also tracks because she was very killery.
Yes, and like it's the only way that certain chase scenes make sense because otherwise Ghostface is superhuman. So that's another thing that the logic in this film is unfortunately punctured by
Hmm.
studio interference. So I think it's a C tier.
Yeah, me too. I was gonna ask where you'd put it, and it would definitely be C.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go.
2011, Scream 4.
Okay, 11 years have passed, and the people want more.
They do. They want
They,
more.
they do. So here we have now. What is it? There's been 7 stab films.
There's been 7, yes.
The opening. Okay, I'm going to tell you now that I hated this opening the most.
A lot of people say that.
Slash, think it's the most creative.
It is. It's super meta.
Yeah. Um, I hate I hate a Groundhog Day style sequence. It's so annoying to me. And I tell myself I won't watch it. I won't rewatch something like that happens in a film. And then in rewatching it, you catch little pieces that are cool and new. And I like seeing Kristen Bell and like Anna Paquin and all of these other actors cameo in the opening sequences for stab films.
Yeah. It is kind of fun.
Yeah, it is. So we're back with Wes Craven. Kevin Williamson is back on the pens.
I think Aaron Kruger's also involved though. Which at some
Barely.
points I can see it. At some points I'm like, yeah, I see you, Aaron.
Yeah. Oh, did Rory Culkin just say that? There you are, Aaron.
There you are. Thank you for contributing that line of dialogue. Thank you for
Right.
that gift.
So the new they're trying to kind of give us a new Sidney Prescott because we kind of need one. Nev Campbell is busy doing other projects and is also busy being 20 almost 20 years older.
Girl, she's busy monetizing her trauma. Let the girl live.
Yes. So um we get Kirby, who is played by Hayden Panettiere.
We get Jill, played by Emma Roberts.
Yes, and we get a third whose name is escaping me.
Are you talking about the females?
Yeah,
I know the character's name. I can't remember the actress's name. But the character's name's Olivia.
that's right. Not Alison Brie. She's in the
She's
films.
the reporter
Oh yeah, sorry.
or a publicist. She's a publicist for Sydney.
Oh. Oh, let's Liv. Where is she? Where is she? Where is she? But while I'm looking for Liv,
Lives in Scream 5. Oh,
sorry,
Olivia.
Olivia.
Olivia. Yeah.
While I'm looking for her, I will also say we get some great new additions. Non-binary
Yes. And
gorgeousness. Nico Tortorelli.
Tor-
Jesus Christ.
this is before he got hot though. He's like cute here.
Yeah.
But now he's like full on like yeah.
Yeah, he was like a baby deer in this film. And now
Yeah.
he is but a god.
Yes.
And then we also get Sheriff Judy.
Yeah, Sheriff Judy.
Marley
Uh,
Shelton, who I know from Sugar and Spice.
well, she's also in a couple horror films too. She has a bit of a
Yeah.
horror career. So Marley Shelton, yeah, she's nice. We like her.
Yeah.
And of course there's a Culkin in here.
Yeah. The babyest of the Culkins, Rory Culkin.
Rory Culkin,
So
which I could
that
tell
yeah.
instantly. I'm like, there's something about your face.
They all have a very like Mary Kate and Ashley, the Olsen clan vibe
Hmm.
about them. That's like if you stepped into a room and that person walked in, you'd be like, you're related to Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, totally. You're giving me child actor vibes. I can
Y-
feel them.
yeah. So I think oh here it is. Marielle Jaffe.
See,
Mary
yeah, I don't know who that is, but yes, that's Olivia.
Okay, great. Here yeah. Did she die?
Oh yeah.
That's okay.
Oh
Here's
yeah.
she was so forgettable.
Well, I was gonna say her kill is very memorable because she gets completely gutted and her intestines are hanging out on a bed, and it's a very brutal death.
Yeah, it's extremely brutal.
Yes, but
Her room is covered in blood,
covered. I'm like, how is that even physically possible? Jesus,
right?
that's a lot of blood.
This is the scream. Oh, this is the only Scream movie I've seen twice. Every
Okay.
other Scream movie, well, you know what? I Scream 5 I've only seen once because I only just recently saw it. But I started halfway. I got halfway through it last night before I fell asleep.
Scream
So
4 or Scream 5?
Scream 5.
Okay.
Scream 4, I thought, "Oh my god." When you mentioned Scream 5, I went back and watched, and I was like, "I don't think I've seen 4." And then I started watching it, it sort of started clicking. You don't forget Emma Roberts throwing herself into a glass table.
Uh, so yeah. Well, okay, so the premise. So Sydney comes back to town after 11 years on her book tour. Her last
Mhm.
stop is Woodsboro, and
Yes.
that's when these killings start up again. And Dewey is now the sheriff of Woodsboro, and he's married to Gail. And she's in a bit of a career rut because she hasn't produced any new books in a while because, surprise, there hasn't been any killings. So, needless to say, when the killings start, she's elated because she's like, this is new material. And
Mhm.
so, throughout the entire film, as we're trying to solve this mystery, we're introduced to these teenagers, and we're kind of led to believe that Emma Roberts as Jill is the new Sydney, and she's the new final girl. Fast forward to the end of the film, and the final girl is the killer, which on a level, like I remember seeing this film in theaters and I was gagged that the second killer was Emma Roberts. I was in a good way. I was extremely gagged at the reveal. I We'll get into it in our killer tier list, but I actually think Scream 4 has the best killer reveal out of all of the films, possibly. It's up there. I don't think it's the best film, but I think it has the best killer reveal.
Yes, I agree. Um, Also the best final girl review, which it now has been confirmed that Kirby is alive.
Yes, yeah. Which Kirby wasn't, I don't think she was initially supposed to be the final girl. She was supposed to be like the Randy of the group, like the film nerd.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think a lot of people remember Kirby from this film because she was so cool and like she knew everything and she was like cooler than all the guys. Like Kirby's a standout in this movie.
Yeah. Also, like, if you're gonna do drugs and make out, excuse me, make out with the quote, quiet, shy boy, we're into you.
We're into you, but also like watch your back because he's probably gonna stab you.
Because look
Because
out, he did.
he is Ghostface as well. He's Ghostface number one.
Yeah.
But so anyways, so my problems with this movie, first of all,
Hmm.
the filter giving me RuPaul's Drag Race season 1. What the fuck was that Vaseline over the camera lens?
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
It's like it almost was like direct to video bullshit.
Yeah, it was weird. I don't know. I need to find out who decided that was okay.
Hmm.
I I like the idea, like this movie is as much as Scream 3 was a commentary on trilogies and Scream 2 was a commentary on sequels, Scream 4 is supposed to be a commentary on remakes.
Hmm.
And so I think they did a good job of subverting the expectations. Like they thought, Jill was going to be the new final girl, and it turns out no, she's the killer. That's dumping the remake concept on its head because where they we thought they were grooming us for a new final girl and a new generation of characters, and nope, they are not. So that's what I like about the film. Like I said, though, the filming itself is ugly. I would say the first act is a little weak too, like with the stab openings. As much as fun as they are, it's a bit too meta.
Yeah.
Um, and I honestly, I don't think a lot of the characters, aside from Jill and Kirby, are very memorable.
No, you're right. Like I barely remembered Olivia, and she
Yes.
had the best death out of all of she had one of the best deaths in the franchise.
Hmm.
Uh
And
so
I think it's definitely better than three.
mhm.
I th- I personally like it more than two, only because of the killer reveal. But there's also things in two that are done better than Scream Four. I think two is more fun.
Yeah, I feel like it's here. Like
Yeah,
in the B tier, but not above Scream 2.
and that's the thing. Like, well, once we finish plotting them, like my rankings for four and two and five are constantly switching.
Mhm.
So I mean, it just depends on the day and what I value the most. But I digress. Let's move on to five cream, as it's
Okay.
known.
All right. So we should be done with Miss Sydney Prescott, but apparently we are not.
Hmm.
They are going to give us, um, yeah. Sorry, I do want to say too that there's again the motive for the killers
Oh, I
is that
love the motive.
so four,
Yeah,
four
for
was like,
four,
four was kind of like influencer style fame.
which is very ahead of its time. Like it
Yeah,
was about like the social media age, and this was in 2011, so this is before like Instagram Live and stuff, like all
yeah.
that stuff. So that's one of the things that I think sometimes makes me edge it ahead of Scream 2 is the motive. It's very abstract. It's
Hmm.
not just revenge. Like, like Scream 2 is revenge from Mrs. Loomis, and Scream 3, that's revenge from Roman. This is, or in jealousy. Scream 4 has a very abstract motive, and I like it. And I think it's really ahead of its time about millennial, self-indulgent culture and the need for fans over friends. It's a very good motive. So that's why sometimes I place it above two, but I also love two. So
Hmm.
it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, it was happening at a time where, like, if you said things like, "Oh, I'm on YouTube," you didn't like. We were making the comic book syndicate, but I wouldn't tell people we're on YouTube because it
Hmm.
just seemed laughable that
Yeah.
anyone would seek attention. Not even that we were seeking attention, but just like a small bit of notoriety on a social media platform. But anyway, now that it's normalized, we move on to Scream 5, which is the newest film to happen and like 10, 11 years later,
Uh,
2020,
yeah,
21, 10.
another 11-year gap.
Yeah. So we are back in Woodsboro. the Remind me how it starts out. The
It's
sister.
Sister Tara gets a phone call from Ghostface, and it starts an attack. Of course, we know how these opening scenes go, but the difference is she survives the attack this time.
Yes.
Why does she survive? Probably because the killer wanted her to. So we're introduced to her sister Sam, who is the main character.
Hmm.
And so this movie really is about two sisters. We meet Tara's friend group in high school. Sam is not in high school. Sam is older, and that these killings or these attacks, they're not killings yet, bring back the legacy characters into the fold. So Dewey, who now lives in a trailer park, divorced from Gail.
Who is also retired,
Yeah,
asked to retire.
asked to retire because white men aren't fired, they are asked to retire with full benefits.
Sheriff Judy is now the sheriff.
Or as the killer calls her, Judy.
Ugh. So we're still on about the voice recorders, people.
Which, by the way, I haven't even given like any shout out to Roger L. Jackson's voice. His voice is incredible for the killer.
I like that they changed it so it's not as like anonymous.
But
It
I
almost
could still
yeah.
tell it was him, but I
Yeah.
agree. It's slightly different.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like so like is it Tara?
Tara's the opening attack, yeah.
That's it. I've only seen this film one and a half times, guys. So forgive me if I don't exactly remember everybody's name, but I do remember the kills. Okay. So Tara picks up the phone and it really could be anybody. It
It,
sounds like it just could be anybody. And also, they're incorporating text messaging in, which is perfect.
We've hit 2022. We've
Yeah.
hit peak. Like, I think it's funny that it's a landline and she doesn't answer. Um, very, very Gen Z.
Yep. It's like, why is this even here still?
What is this thing?
So Sam comes back into town. Sam comes back into town to like be with her sister. And she divulges to her sister a secret that she has held onto forever, and is the reason why Sam allowed herself to watch her family, the relationships in her family deteriorate.
Mm-hmm.
She finds out through reading a diary hidden in her family home that she is the illegitimate
Yep.
daughter of Billy Loomis, because
Yeah.
wouldn't you know, he is getting it on the side. Or sorry, he was getting it on the side.
Is anybody surprised by that? No.
No,
No. Look
no,
at him. He's a gorgeous man.
right?
Of course, he was a gorgeous man.
Um, we know this also. It's hinted at because Sam sees visions of her father.
I know. Which, like, I was so happy to see Skeet back, so, like, I'm trying
Yeah.
to ignore it. But, like, how would she know what he looks? I guess she would see photos, like, in
But
police
sh
reports and stuff,
but did
but
she see the same footage of that we watched of Scream 1 with him wearing a white t-shirt that is bloody? Come on now.
well, hold on. I mean,
Oh.
in the Scream films, the
Mm,
Stab films exist. So they would have reenacted Stab 1. So she would have seen, I think it was Luke Wilson who played Billy in the Stab franchise. So she would have seen
yeah.
Luke Wilson in the white shirt and the blood stain. So maybe she just superimposed her dad's head over Luke Wilson and that was the vision. Who knows?
Wouldn't it have been hilarious if the person, if it wasn't Skeet Ulrich, um,
It was
if
Luke Wilson.
it's Luke Wilson,
That would have been really funny, actually.
or sometimes it was Luke Wilson, or like an amalgam of their faces. Okay, so she sees visions of her father Billy, and she's convinced that she's trying to convince herself. This is what I'm not too sure about. Is she trying to convince herself that she's not destined for a fate of for, destined to the fates for being like whatever, a serial killer.
Killer. Yep.
Um, at this point in time, R.I.P. Wes Craven. You have given us so much, and we have given you none at all. We
Wes
we
Craven is literally a horror icon at this point.
yes,
Like, rest his soul. He
yeah,
gave us the Scream franchise. He gave us the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. He
yeah,
gave us The Hills Have Eyes, which is too rapey for me. I can't watch.
yeah,
But I mean, he's just Wes Craven's so good. He's so
yeah,
fucking good.
yeah. When you can incorporate rape and cannibalism, it's just enough. It's a lot.
It's a lot. I won't watch it, but I
Yeah.
appreciate that you're telling a story.
Yes. Yeah. Mhm.
But I will say, speaking of cannibalism, I did watch Yellow Jackets recently, and I'm fully on board with Yellow Jackets.
That is another tiered list that we'll be doing soon. We'll start another podcast.
The Yellow Jackets tea room, the beehive.
The me
That's a
It'll
good
partner well
podcast.
with our Twilight podcast that me and Michael are planning because we are both Team Edward. Anyway,
Shut up, Michael. You guys like Michael watches Twilight?
um, I yeah. Okay, tangent.
Oh no.
We we used to do something called the anti Super Bowl, where we would just invite friends, like film friends over. I
Hmm.
Don't get me wrong, listeners. I like a little foosball. I don't mind.
Football?
Huh?
Huh?
I also love everything that comes with it. The nachos, the chicken wings,
Yes,
like
Mama.
the gin soda drinks. I'm into it. I'm there for the food. So when I find out that my friends watch films instead of watching the Super Bowl and eating copious amounts of junk food, I was a little heartbroken, but I was like, okay, this will give me some space
Hmm.
to widen my perspective on like horror films. So the one day the one we all get a pick, and the one Super Bowl only three of us could make it. the one anti-Super Bowl. And my pick was Twilight.
God.
Or no, it was Twilight 2 because there was werewolves. One of the people who was at this anti-Super Bowl also in their life makes like B movies with monsters in them. And I thought, you want monsters? We're going to the real time, which is a a DVD rental facility that is no longer in existence. It's gone the way of Blockbuster, but we go there and Twilight New Moon is on the shelf. And I'm like, we're watching this. This is it. It's got vampires and werewolves. And both people, including Mike L, were intrigued. And they watched it. And they both looked at each other and said, holy shit, do we like Twilight now?
I can't.
You're welcome.
I can't imagine Mike L liking Twilight. That's so funny.
Oh, we don't want to speak it into existence lest Tom Cruise hear him say it, but he is Team Arpats.
Oh my God. I need to have this conversation with Mike L.
We should do. We got to do a spider cast together, by the way. That's another.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after, but my schedule is freeing up.
Okay, Queen.
Anyways, Scream 5.
Okay, so where were we? Let's place it and talk.
Let's Where are you thinking, girl?
Oh, okay. To me, it's better than Scream. I liked it better than Scream 4, but I've only seen
Okay.
it 1.5 times.
I think you're right. I think it's better than 4.
But is it better than 2?
I think it might be.
Yeah?
I think it is.
Okay, I was afraid you would say no.
I I actually think it might be an A tier behind Scream. I think it might be there.
Agreed. Okay,
But
good.
I have to again preface by saying my rankings for 5, 2, and 4 are constantly in flux. The only things I'm like kind of sure about is 3 is the worst. And like even sometimes I'm not sure if Scream 1 is the best. I'm like everything just kind of like it depends what I'm on the mood for, but they have so much to offer individually. It's really hard to place them.
Exactly.
So this Scream 5, damn it, that script is good and
Mhm.
it's made with love. It's made by the people that are part of Radio Silence. They did the film Ready or Not, starring Samara Weaving. They've done a couple
Ooh.
other things too. Matt Bettinelli and Tyler. Oh gosh, what's his name?
Gillette.
Tyler Gillette. Yeah. And they are clearly fans of the franchise because this movie is dripping with references. It's a tight film. They kept the character arcs within line of Wes Craven's films. They really they really wanted to make a really good movie, and I think it shows.
Yeah. And they didn't want to just bring back the legacy characters for the sake of bringing them back either. They gave
No.
us a really good reason. So,
Well, yes, because we learn halfway through when Dewey Riley agrees to help this new generation find out who the killer is. Dewey Riley dies, gets murdered by Ghostface.
oh boy. And in an in an honorable death. Not only does he get killed by Ghostface, but Ghostface thanks him.
Yes, says it's an honor. So
I almost like between tears, I was like, "Oh, that's perfect."
they did him well. You know what? Like it's hard to kill off a legacy character and not piss off the fan base.
Mm. But you have to
Star
kill
Wars.
one of them. Yeah,
But you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's
Uh,
hard to do.
I felt it coming too. I don't know how it didn't get spoiled for me, but it didn't.
I
And I
told
was
you to stay off that Reddit just in case.
right. Oh, and I had subscribed to our Scream, but like anytime that's what I love about Scream fans is that they didn't spoil things in the titles.
Yeah.
And I would casually see things like the looks on their faces, and I'm like, I wouldn't click in, but I'm like, who are they talking about? Are they talking
Hmm.
about Sydney and whoever she's with? Are they talking about you know what I mean? I didn't know if they were talking about Dewey and Gail or what.
Yeah.
Because they don't tell us they don't tell us what their fates are. We don't find out until we get into it, like what's happening with these characters. So like the way that Dewey actually tells Gale and Sydney not to come back to Woodsboro. You're
Yes.
going to he tells them you're going to see stuff on the news. Maybe someone was stabbed, but they were not killed. So whatever you do and whatever you see, because Gail is working a morning show and she's in the news, whatever you see, don't fucking come here.
And Gail comes back to see Dewey. Well, she comes back because Judy dies, and she wants to cover it, which is a little heartless, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And then Sydney comes back once Dewey dies, but Sydney didn't want to come back.
No. And Sydney wasn't going to come back. She was
No.
busy jogging in Seattle with like her children.
And her husband, Mark,
Mark.
who is McDreamy.
Yes, girl. I was the only thing that would have made that better is if they had Patrick Dempsey jogging beside her, like
Mm-hmm.
with another like city pram, you know? It would have been the
Yeah.
best.
Daddy
Anyway,
Patrick.
yeah. So and also he didn't travel with her. That was weird.
Somebody has to take care of the kids.
Oh yeah, you're right. We
She has
don't know.
kids.
Yeah, they have kids. Okay, okay. So and he's likely a police officer
Mm-hmm.
still. Okay, so Dewey dies, Judy dies. Judy's baby dies.
I know. It's a hard sequence to watch. It's cruel.
Yeah.
Um,
One of the best death scenes, I would say.
is Judy or her son? Are you
Her
talking about her son?
her
Yeah, it's very
son.
well done.
Um,
The entire sequence is well done.
oh my god. Okay, so the whole what they do is again, they flip horror conventions really on their heads, which is what this franchise is known for. But they do it so well and they do it masterfully, especially in this one.
I was like laughing because of all the fake outs.
Yes, the fake outs were the gold. To me, I could watch that over and over and over again. So is the guy's name Dylan Minnette?
Yep.
He is famous for 13 Reasons Why, but
Don't
is
get me started
actually
on that. Yep.
a pretty great actor aside from that. And I'm glad he found a little hole in the Scream franchise because he just needs to get away from that Netflix show. Okay, so we're not going to talk about his frosted tips because those are weird.
Yes.
And they're not coming back, people. Don't bring them back. They're stuck in 1996 with Scream where they
For a
should be.
reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
leave them there, please. Okay, so Judy, who has left lemon squares and a note,
I know.
God bless her damn soul, is off to pick up sushi, and she leaves her son at home in the shower. Um,
Very Janet Leigh and Psycho.
yeah. Uh, make so we get you know a little naked male body for the masses.
Skintimacy.
Mm. I I like a good I like a good homage and expectation flip. So
Yes.
whatever, he gets out of the shower, he doesn't die in the shower. You expect him to die in the shower, he doesn't. But at this point, Judy has been called by the killer and is rushing home because the killer is telling her he's going to kill her son. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
La, 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 la. He opens a bunch of doors. The doors cover up the whole frame. When he closes the doors, there's no killer there. Um, when he when he's done sort of setting the table for dinner, he notices, his mom still isn't home. I could have sworn I heard her come home. He goes to check the front door. The front door is open. That's weird. I'll just close it. Maybe it opened when she got here and it just didn't close all the way, which is funny for a scene. And this is why I think it's so smart. He's just like opening all kinds of doors and then he closes them
Mm-hmm.
unbeknownst to him just outside. Judy reaches her home and is immediately stabbed in broad daylight.
I know.
This is the second broad daylight killing
Yes.
or out in public.
Mm-hmm.
Cassie Casablancas, popular from TV's Veronica Mars was killed outside of a bar while he was peeing. But I guess there was a cut scene. Everyone's like, that was a weird death. Anyway,
Oh,
sorry.
Vince, you mean?
Yes, Vince.
Oh, yeah. No, he was killed in the dark, though.
Yes, but out in
Yeah.
public.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So broad daylight killing, which is also new. Is this new? Yeah.
The principal no, Jamie Kennedy in Scream 2 died. Remember, he was brought into the news van. So but they are rare. The broad daylight killings are rare.
Yes. Oh yes. They're usually like there's an element of like hiding,
Mm-hmm.
being able concealing. This killer is straight up just like out in the open. And this is not the first time they do it. The one of the twins full stabbing a twin at the party,
Oh, yeah.
and the car drives up and in full view. In full
Yep.
view. Okay, sorry. The motives. I'm all over the place. The the reason why this movie is good is because everything works together. The motive is kind of nuts.
It's kind of like Scream 4's motive in a way, but
Yeah.
this time it's about requels. So they gave us examples of what a requel is, thanks to one of the twins, Mindy, who tells us a requel is like a legacy sequel. And it's also a reboot. So you can't just do a full remake or reboot with different characters because fans won't like that. But you also don't want to do a straight sequel because people are like, we've seen this a million times. So you want to do a requel where it has new characters plus the legacy cast. And so that's kind of what the killer's motivation is that they hate the trajectory that the stab films have been on because they've been getting progressively worse and worse. And they want to breathe new life into the franchise with a requel. And so they want to frame Sam as the killer since she is Billy's daughter. And that's not difficult to buy because you're the daughter of a serial killer. That's an easy narrative to buy. And they
Mhm.
want to also bring the legacy character. Actually, I don't think they did want to bring the legacy characters back into it, but they got dragged back into it. And then they realized they had to kill Dewey for stakes, as they said. And so it's really about them. It deals with toxic fandom, how they're owed something as fans, and that they need to see this franchise of stab films get back to its former glory. So they are
Mhm.
providing material for the stab, movie production company to make a good sequel. So it's toxic fandom taken to the limit.
Yes. And in my opinion, it's the best possible final form. No, we just found out there might be a sixth final form of a film that there could be.
There is a six, and it is being filmed this summer in Montreal.
Oh boy! And wouldn't you
Yes.
know, in a YouTube video within the film, it was confirmed that Kirby is a survivor, so they're bringing her back.
I don't know. I think Hayden Panettiere's got some stuff going on in her personal life, so I don't know if she's
Oh yeah.
acting right now. But I hope she
Mm.
comes back. She was great in Scream 4.
Oh yes, I think so too. And it would be cool if she came back for six, but if she doesn't, whatever. Because now we have they really set the franchise up to kickstart with a new set of characters. And this is how you do it. You don't
Hmm.
bring Jamie Lee Curtis back again and again and again. And I do not expect at all to see Nev Campbell in the sixth film.
Uh, yeah, so I agree. I think a lot of fans would be happy with Nev and Courtney not showing up because
Hmm.
like they've been through so fucking much in these films. But
Yeah,
apparently they might have a small role.
which is okay,
Yeah.
fine.
As long as they continue with the main characters, like I mean, Nev and Courtney had a small role in Scream. Like they had an important role, but it was kind of small. Like they only had like 10 minutes of screen time each.
Hmm.
Like they didn't have a lot of screen time, but they made it count.
Yes, and it was because these bitches have been through all of the films. It really kind of like served to like disconnect the original films from this fifth film. So
Mm-hmm.
you have Sydney and you have Gail. They make it to Stu's house where weirdly the Meeks live. So Randy's sister, who's played by Heather Matarazzo, who we
Yeah.
see in Scream
Three.
4?
Three.
3.
Yeah.
That's it. She appears to give Randy's videotape to Sydney because he has died,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
So Somehow, Randy's sister lives in Stu Macher's old house.
Yeah. Well,
Fine.
no, Randy's sister. No. Amber's family lives in Stu Macher's house.
That's it. Okay.
Amber's one of the killers.
But why is Randy's sister there giving them treats? Or is that a
Because
whole different scene?
that's before. That's
Okay.
before when they'd introduce Dewey to the kids and Dewey gives them the rules of surviving a horror film and stuff.
Yeah. And then we get this great.
Exposition.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So Amber lives in Schumacher's house, which makes
Hmm.
sense because they're crazy.
Oh, they're
She
nuts.
she ends up being one of the killers. Cool. So it all kind of it wraps it up. Sydney and Gail get there. Amber falls out of the house and she's like, I've been stabbed. I've been stabbed. My second favorite part is when Sydney turns to Gail and says, are you buying this? And
What do you
Gail's like,
think? Yeah.
yeah, what do you think? And she's like, I
Trap.
don't know. It's a trap. And and Amber's like, okay,
Fuck it.
yeah, and shoots them. That was her reveal, was it not? Well, it was
No.
revealed before that, but
No, it was revealed before, but still, like, I love that turning it on its head though. Like, they've been through this so many times. They're like,
mhm,
do we trust this bitch we've never met?
yeah. And Sydney's been kicking in heads with her feet since like Scream 2. But there was something about the way that she uh
She's
was doing
smart.
it in this one.
Yeah,
She
she's
was
smart.
just, yeah, barely, hey, I don't care if you're the killer. I don't care if you're not the killer. If you don't show yourself, I'm going to shoot you.
Yeah, and she's just shooting in doors that are closed. Like, she doesn't care who's behind it. She's like, you have 5 seconds, or
Yep.
else I'm gonna start killing people.
And little Quaid,
Little, yeah, mini Quaid,
Richie, yeah,
Richie.
he just happened to be hiding behind a door. And he's like, "Why? Why would you shoot me?" It's like, "I told you to come out." Turns out he's the other killer.
He is the other killer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So their motivation together was it was good. It was a nice commentary on toxic fandom, and we get our typical climax, and Sam's the final girl, and she ends up killing Richie with the help of the ghost of her father. Thank
Yeah.
God.
Mhm.
So uh, it's a good film.
Yeah.
It firmly sits in the A. You know what? I feel like we didn't put anything in the S tier. I would just bump everything up by one because it's
Yeah.
relative.
Okay.
So, but you get it. You get it, folks.
Mhm. Okay, so we'll have that tiered list available for you to see and follow along with on www.comicbooksyndicate.com, where you find episodes of the Full Volume podcast. It'll be in the post with this specific tier list.
Sick.
Yes. If you disagree with us, that's fine. Join our Scream and like see everybody else's rankings because again, they're wildly different and we love to talk about it.
Yeah, they are so, and I feel like even by the time we post this, our minds are going to change again. So like,
Yeah,
they're
my mind's
so
changing right now.
like it's not like the nightmare films and the Friday films where everyone's like, okay, yeah, one's definitely the best, and like six is definitely the worst, and like there's a lot of variation there with what people take away from the Scream movies,
Oh
but that's
yeah.
not the case with other franchises usually.
Hmm.
That's
So
me.
good. Okay. You can listen to this and all of our other podcasts wherever you download and listen to your favorite podcasts. We'll be back again next week with more
Hmm.
tiered lists and more fun. Maybe it'll be about Scream. It'll definitely be about Scream.
It'll definitely be about the killers.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
And then we're thinking about we're thinking about going meta ourselves and maybe ranking all of the Marvel Disney Plus films. But you'll have to wait and see because
That
there's a
is
lot of time between now
very
and Marvel.
meta. Should we rank our reviews of the Marvel Disney Plus films? Our review performance?
Oh no. We'll think about it.
That would be meta.
I was gonna say all S tier. No, definitely F tier. It'd be hard to put one in front of the other in the F tier. But yeah, send us an email if you like. It's fullvolumpod@gmail.com. But until then, I have been your cool ass host, G.I. Joe. Yeah. Yeah. Also cool. Less shampoo.
Less shampooed. Now with 20% less volume.
Oh no.
That's okay.
But hey, until next time, keep it loud.
Keep it at full volume.